Hello people of the verse and welcome to the channel's The Eradicator, and in this video we will be talking about loot and why is it so important and why it may be coming sooner than later. And the reason why I'm telling you this, guys, is because, well, we're having a look right here at the roadmap here, loot generation tier 0, and it looks like the work is going to be completed here by the middle of the next month, which perhaps for a release in Star Citizen Alpha 3.15 by the end of Q3 2021, because Jared did say in the latest episode of Inside Star Citizen that this will be coming to us later this year. So this is extremely exciting for sure, and yeah, it's something that we'll be talking about in this latest episode of Inside Star Citizen that we'll be not entirely reviewing, of course, but we'll definitely be talking about loot, because that is, in my opinion, going to be a way that is, it's going to be a new gameplay element that is going to be considerably changing the way we play the game. So here we go, guys, let's check out this episode of Inside Star Citizen, shall we?
For me, when it comes to exploring areas in a game, I tend to prefer when I've earned something.
Yes,
So
that's
when you've had to
extremely
fight to
important, guys. Getting to earn something in the game is one of the reasons why people want to play a game, and this is really something that's kind of lacking right now in Star Citizen, especially because, well, the only thing that you can earn in Star Citizen is money. Honestly, and even with with the fact that you are earning money, you can even sometimes randomly lose what you learn, from one patch to another, or simply, it's just kind of boring. You just get that money, go to a shop, you get it. It's more exciting if you actually get to acquire some items that you can't buy with money, but actually playing the game, and this is definitely something that's lacking right now.
Past some people to get somewhere, you expect there to be something cool to find, something to make it worthwhile.
Well, that's just a shotgun so
There are
far.
just some things that you just don't go and buy in a store, things that you have to go out and find.
Exactly, that's exactly what we're talking about.
That's, I feel, one of the most important aspects of gaming.
We're looking at the beautiful sunset here on the
I've
Hurston
often
as well.
found that if there's no tangible reward, whether it's something that you bring away from there or something that you find that maybe leads to something else to discover, that something can be lost in the experience of exploration.
Absolutely. I think that Chris Speak here has spoken. Indeed. What's the point of being an explorer in Star Citizen right now? There is no point of being an explorer apart from taking beautiful screenshot or maybe some bragging rights if you want to be if you want to go to Benny Hang, or you're the first one to find this particular area by a shore where you have a little beach maybe. Okay, yeah, cool for you. You can take some nice pictures and send them on Reddit or Spectrum maybe, but that's basically it right now. There is no point in exploring the game. But if you explore the game and you come out with some really rare items that you can only find at certain locations, then all of a sudden, all that time that you are spending exploring the game becomes much more valuable.
Imagine you go into some dungeon you're excited to explore, and there's NPCs there just kind of standing around, but there's nothing to find. There's crates, but they're empty. There's storage with nothing in it.
That's Star Citizen right
Not
now.
only is it disappointing from a gameplay perspective, you don't get any of the cool loot you were hoping for, but it just doesn't make sense. What were all these people doing there with no food, no supplies?
Now he's having a very good point here, especially with the food, because of course we have actor status tier 1 right now, which means that we need to have some food and drink in order to maintain our bodies in the verse. If we don't drink, eventually we'll die in the verse. That is a reality. Although that is is often very bugged, it still is nevertheless. But you need to go to a shop to find that food and to find all those drinks. Sometimes your ship may be a little bit too far away. You're thirsty. You don't have time to go back to your ship. It would be great if we could find some supplies in some of the places that we visit. That some of the places that maybe we infiltrate as well. Can steal a little can can of fizz and drink it on the spot. This is something that's not available, and it would make the game world so much more believable and immersive. And that is just something that was not possible until recently. It's still not possible right now, but it is going to be made possible thanks to all the advancements that are being made right now and that are gradually being released step by step this year. I'm thinking, for example, of iCache, which is that technology that is going to be allowing for finally some persistence in the game, including some of those items, the famous mug that Chris Roberts keeps on talking about. You drop your mug and you come back 1 year later, it's still there. That is some technology that is going to be starting to be rolled out this year. And looting, those looting mechanisms that are going to be coming out later this year are going to be enabled thanks to iCache in particular here. So it's great to see that we're finally getting to see some of the fruits of that labor here in this video, and that, again, I'm repeating myself, but it's coming up later this year. And that is going to make 2021 is an exciting year to be a backer of Star Citizen.
Nothing. You want there to be something amazing at the end. So we're working on this new system called loot generation.
Yes.
We have built this system on the foundation of the harvestable system.
Oh, yes, very smart, very smart. I like the idea that they're using the harvestable system, which was introduced, again, a long time ago, but it's one of those, another example here where they're bringing some foundations and then bit per bit they are building on those foundations here, the harvestable system being one of those foundations. Just for example, just to give you an example of what it is, it's, for example, when you go to a cave and you find some fungi there or some dung that you collect, and it's just randomly placed there. That is part of the harvestable system. You have also a couple of harvestables on the surfaces of Hurston, where you have some fruits there, as well as some mushrooms you can pick up on some of the dead woods on Macrotech as well. But they're extremely rare. That's the problem right now. It's probably the servers are a little bit too overloaded, and as far as I'm concerned, I've never found any fruit on Hurston, even though they're here, and some people have, but apparently they're extremely rare, not that common. So I just wish that CIG could make that a little bit more common as the servers hopefully get tweaked for the better in the future.
Which is going to empower our designers to set up locations all across the verse,
yes,
to be filled with dynamically generated loot.
Wow, are we talking about quanta here for this dynamically generated? Is it going to be generated by the game, by the engine that runs the game? That would be phenomenal here. Plus, they said that they are going to implement those locations. So are we talking about more locations, or are we talking about the locations that already exist, like the bunkers, for example, which would make sense to see some lootables in some of the bunkers? So I suppose that
they
that's
function using a system we've called loot archetypes, which are on-the-fly generated sets of tags.
So the idea is that a designer can lay out a list of tags that they want items in the loot pool to match, and then maybe some that they don't. So you can say, I want things that are tagged with weapon, but not things that are tagged with ammunition.
Okay.
And then what really makes it powerful is it's not just a uniform distribution of, okay, we have all of these potential items, just pick one at random. When the designers are specifying tags to use, they can assign a weight to each one and say, I want rifles with a weight of 5, and I want pistols with a weight of 10. So you're twice as likely to get a pistol in this crate.
Oh, so the weight is not actually how heavy it is, but how often these are generated, which makes sense, right? Because you want to create at the same time a certain type of rarity, right? You want some items to be more exciting to find because you know that you're not going to find all the time, whereas some items, you have already 20 or 30 and you're like, meh, I'll pass this time, right? Of course, this is always what happens when it comes to loot, and it makes sense that they want to have that in Star Citizen as well.
Like full control over how many items spawn, what specifically spawns. We could even, if we wanted to, and I've actually been doing the tagging for this myself, we could actually tell a loot archetype, hey, spawn me a bunch of armor that's red. Your loot archetype could have the weapon.fps.rifle tag as an example, and that would then give you the option of all of the weapons that spawn underneath that, or that are populated underneath that tag structure. And you may then have armor.fps.heavy, which would give you all of the
Heavy
selection
armor,
of the heavy
yeah.
armors under that. And then it could be gadget.medkit. So you would then have a loot archetype that says, give me any rifle or any heavy piece of armor or any medkit.
That is so cool. They basically have the entire verse at their fingertip, and they can decide whatever is going to be available in which area. That is a great tool here at their disposal.
It's been a lot of work to get it working that way,
Look at
but
that.
all of it...
Security Post Korea, guys. We need some loot. Actually, in fact, there used to be some loot available at Security Post Korea. I don't know if you guys remember the old days of Alpha 2.1, 2.2, etc. When we didn't have so much shop. The only shops we had were Grimex and Port Orisar. They were actually lootable guns at Security Post Korea, that little office that we have on the second deck, was where you could loot some guns, but unfortunately it's not the case anymore.
It sort of works in conjunction with each other and with some of the future stuff coming down the pipe.
Well, are we looking at the inventory system here? The inventory system, which, if I am correct, let's have a look at the release view here. Come on, RSI. It is coming in, let's see if it's 3.15. Yes, personal inventory here is also coming up in 3.15. Implements the personal inventory for all usable. So there we go. Utilizes the new iCache for persistence wherever players travel. So iCache is definitely going to be rolled out in 3.15, and it only makes sense that persistent loot is also going to make it here, and they're going to be using the inventory system for that. That is, I like it, when you have all the all the pieces of the puzzle all coming together. This is exactly how it feels.
Such as
these are
Quanta.
exciting times.
The loot generation system actually will read from the parent object containers that we use in the game at the moment. So, say you're spawning containers on Hurston. Your main object container would be Hurston. And then let's say you've got Lorville, which would be L19. And then inside that, you might have, let's say that we expand the city and there's like an abandoned hovel underneath that's maybe occupied by pirates. If Quanta decides, oh, okay, so authorities came, cleared that place out, that place is now no longer a pirate base, it's now storage site for Hurston Dynamics, then all of the containers in that area then might switch to be containing Hurston equipment.
This is insane. So here they're meaning that locations that are going to have loot are going to be defined by Quanta. Quanta is that system that's been designed by Tonuzuri for years now, that is going to regulate how the verse is going to be living and breathing, and they're going to be using that to define what kind of lootables are going to be in which area. That is fantastic.
Quanta can then determine way up the chain, way at the top, this is how things are now happening because AI has moved in, things have happened, things have changed, and the archetypes and the loot generation system reacts on the fly to that. So if Quanta was to decide this planet has been raided, it's been full of conflict, there's been wars here, like people are leaving in droves because it's not safe to be here anymore, the status of that planet, the richness of that planet lowers as well, to the point where then the loot generation system says, okay, where most of these containers might have been 50 to 60% full as they were, now we're only going to fill them up to like 20
That's
to 30.
awesome. So Quanta obviously is going to know how busy an economical node is going to be in Star Citizen, and it is going to define how filled those containers are. So a busy place, a place that has an economical boom, for example, will have full containers, and a backwater world we have half empty or less containers. That's awesome. Which again, would play a big role in how the more risk you are taking, the bigger the rewards are going to be, because obviously a location where trade is flourishing is going to have more security to protect that, which means that it's going to be more dangerous to be looting there. It all makes sense.
It's all about adapting on the fly to
By the
where
way, we're
you're
looking
at,
at
what you're doing, and
here.
seeing what can be.
So where we're at right now is we've got a pretty solid base for internal testing. We're trying out marking up a few different locations with some containers, mainly filled with weapons and armor at the moment. But
okay, that makes sense. And this again shows us here in the progress tracker. If you're typing loot, you'll be able to see that they have various tiers here, tier 0 and tier 1. The one that's going to be completed here in a couple of weeks is going to be implementing the systems that generate containers throughout the persistent universe, creates lockers and boxes that contain dynamically, randomly populated loot. We are talking here about guns, ammos, and armor here. Obviously, hopefully, when we have tier 1, which is going to come probably by the end of quarter 1 2022, we'll probably have maybe food and other types of rare items, but we'll start with the basics first, and it's going to be a great test bed to see if all of that is working properly.
To expand that to other items in the future.
And we hope that it provides an
Now
immersive...
look at that. This is a representation of a potential play. I like artist interpretation. I like that they do that. They should, because otherwise people are going to believe that it's real. I really wonder, is it going to be possible in 3.15 to bring in all the loot to a shop like this
more than anything else that people
and
can get
sell it to
excited
the
about
shop
this sort
for
of
money?
thing, that they
I
know that when they go
certainly
to a planet
hope
once,
so.
they might go back a few weeks later and it's just completely different.
Boom. That would be fantastic, guys. Anyway, this, I believe, is going to come in 3.15, at least according to what we're seeing here. Also, if we listen to the outro, let's listen to the to Jared a little bit here. You're going to listen to what he said.
Loot is an essential part of any MMO, and when it arrives later this year...
When it arrives later this year. Thank you, Jared. So let me know in the comment section down below, guys. This is the giveaway question, as I'm giving away a Gattac Raylan with LTI. All you have to do is to answer that question I'm going to ask and subscribe to this channel. When do you think loot is going to come? As far as I'm concerned, it's not on the roadmap right now. It should be in gameplay. It is not there. So is it going to be in 3.16, or do you think it will come even earlier in 3.15? I think that they've made a lot of progress. We already have the personal inventory here. I think it is also going to be coming in 3.15, but I guess we'll see, right? Also, speaking of giveaways, thanks to Uncle Funk Machiminaz here. Please helping out. He's almost at 1,000 subscribers here. I'll put the link in the description down below. Let's give him some love here. He is sponsoring this month's giveaway. Especially, he wants you guys to check out Daymar Dreams, which is a recreation of the Daymar Rally, and he did a pretty cool job on this. So on Discord, I am giving away a lot of things: a G12 with LTI, 3 sets of Greycat armor, and also thanks to Dragon Ghost, $25, $10, and $10 in ISF gift cards. Thank you so much for watching, guys. A big thanks as well to Dr. Forbin, Tala, and Eric Ohm for their contributions on Patreons. I will see you guys tomorrow for more content. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.